Tell me about your
Okay.
holiday experiences, David.
Okay, so specifically the Hanukkah Christmas issue or experiences. I grew up in a very mixed situation. My family was sort of like the Montagues and the Capulets, the Jews and the Catholics married together. So we had a Christmas tree and we also had Hanukkah. And I was raised predominantly in a Jewish setting, but we had those two side by side all along the way. And so the Christmas tree was very much just a prop with no meaning to it at all. And the Hanukkah menorah, I did get formal schooling on in Hebrew school. And it's funny, my son just asked me the other day about, Jews and Hanukkah and spinning the dreidel and everything. And he asked, do Jews spin the dreidel? Do they gamble with that with this game? Have they done this for a long time? And I said, actually, it's not gambling like a casino. I explained to him that the dreidel was kind of a guise under which they could hide teaching about the Maccabees. And so it looked like they were just playing some silly game, but Neskadol Hayasham, a great miracle happened there. And so, it gave me the opportunity to explain to him that Jewish people have had to be sort of covert in a lot of ways throughout history. And so it led to this whole discussion about, Anne Frank hiding in the attic and all this stuff. So for me, the Hanukkah experience, I wouldn't say it was a big theological eye opener for me as a kid. It was more of a warning to be cautious and everything. But Christmas, which, as I said, was just a kind of a prop and a place where you get presents, that's all it was. That came to life for me when I actually became a Christian. Then suddenly, oh, okay, now I've got some reasoning here. Like in Hebrew school, we were just, it was drilled into our heads, never let the Holocaust happen again. Never again. That's the Jewish thing, never again. And whatever you have to do to prevent this, it's on you to prevent it. Well, a lot of Jewish people lose faith and because of the Holocaust, thinking, how could God allow this? When I became a Christian, Christmas had a meaning for me, whether or not, whenever Jesus was born, aside, that there's a certain point on the calendar where we actually celebrate the incarnation of God. God become man, but God becoming flesh and dwelling among us. And that helped me to understand how it is that God could allow a Holocaust, not the reasons for it, but that he's taken responsibility for it through Christ. And so it turned the whole Jewish Christian relationship aright for me, because for a long time, I mean, a lot of Jewish people are raised with the understanding that Christians caused the Holocaust and all this stuff. And there's definitely been anti-Semitism. But what did Jesus do theologically? Well, he took responsibility for all that evil and all that horrible stuff that I hate having to teach my son about. And so I wouldn't do the year without Christmas alongside Hanukkah myself.
Mm.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. Yeah, that has been when it was time for me to decide how I was going to teach my children. I like the story of Hanukkah, but I don't really understand it. I think probably because I cannot take off my Jesus goggles. Everything I see, it has the print of the cross. So when I'm lighting the candles and I see the first one, then two, then three, ever increasing light, these ideas of dedication, which can happen any time of the year, those are the things that I get in from Hanukkah, and also that a great miracle happened here, but sometimes we have to fight for it. So that's
Yeah.
that's what I've gleaned from Hanukkah, and why I use that as a form to teach my own children. But yeah, I'm certainly not doing it correctly. So to tell anybody I'm doing that.
Here's the thing about Hanukkah too, is that I think that most Jewish kids will get sort of the generic brown bag Hanukkah teaching that I got and just walk away from it thinking, okay, 8 crazy nights, and that's about it, right? Debbie and I lived in Israel for that time period when we first married. when you consider the soldiers in Israel, the IDF, and you consider who the Maccabees are in the modern Israeli Jewish mindset versus the American Jewish mindset, I think they're much more in touch with the historical reality of the Maccabees. Because I mean, you have towns like Modi'in and places where these events occurred, and they all speak Hebrew, first language. So I think it's easy to be really far removed from it in America. I don't think a lot of American Jews really know much about it other than, yay, the Maccabees, right? Or think about it much. It is, Second Temple history. That's where I think it becomes helpful. So, in fact, this weekend I'm going to talk about it
Oh,
a lot, about the Maccabees. Yeah, for sure.
cool. All right. Well, what's your favorite Christmas carol then?
Uh, um, um, what's that one? Have you heard that one? Uh, Once in Royal David City. Have you heard that one?
I don't know.
It's big over in I think it's big in England. I heard a Celtic Christmas where they sang. It was really a whole choir singing. Once in Royal David City. The reason I like it right now is because it's so mommy and babyish, and my daughter that's where you can see what we have. I mean,
Uh-huh.
the dresses and everything. So Once in Royal David City is a really good, Mary and Jesus holding the baby carol. Check that one out.
Okay, I'll look for that one. Yeah.
Okay.
My firstborn daughter was born on December 19th. So that first Christmas that she was an infant, she was a week old. And I heard that song, Mary, did you know that your
I
baby?
love that one.
Yeah, so I
Love
was
that.
holding an infant when I listened to that song. It was so profound. Um, yeah, but I have a different Christmas carol every year, so I can't really tell you my favorite.
I love the Christmas carols. I love the theology of them. I love the whole season. If not now, when? When maybe people want to celebrate the birth of the Messiah in Sukkot. For what it's worth, I'll celebrate the birth of the Messiah all year round, and I'll even celebrate that on Christmas Day.
Yes,
So,
there's
yeah.
not a bad day to worship the Lord.
There's not a bad day to worship God. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay.